stuff is more affordable than ever. And, it's just, I think it's great. It's opens up a bunch, this programs like this open up a bunch of like opportunities for kids, like how I was, in a little studio apartment in New York, or in your parents' basement or something like that. I mean, you literally have stuff that you can just with MIDI kind of make an orchestra out of. Yeah, honestly, I think I first started using some Arturia stuff on Pink, that album Pink.
Yeah.
That was the first time I started using it. It definitely helped me widen up my sound a bit. Before that, I was kind of sticking to just like almost making synths with my guitar and stuff like that. So it kind of helped open up a bunch of avenues for me. If I had to say a go-to, I really like the Mellotron on there, especially you know what I mean? It sounds just so good. And so on the next album, there's a couple of, we use it for lead? No, it's mostly like.
No, it's like chord stuff.
We usually
I guess like if we want that like retro string sound.
Yeah. One of the songs on there, it's called Lies, and on the chorus you hear like a high string and some other synth stuff. Then you'll hear it on there, and then on the song Fire, there's a ton of synths from Arturia and Mellotron on that. When it gets to the more synthy part at the end, yeah, I mean you can definitely pinpoint sounds considerably better when you have this kind of control. I mean, it goes hand in hand with it. So this is the Mellotron. Right now I've got this little chord progression. And that's cool, but it's moving around a little bit for me. So normally I set up the MIDI like this, and I just kind of scroll through some sounds to kind of find one that fits. So obviously, as you can see, there's just like a ton of stuff to choose from here. I'm looking for something kind of smooth. I like that. That's pretty, right? So let's say I want to increase either the attack, so it kind of flows up a little bit more like that. That's super easy on here. Same thing with decay. If I wanted to release a little longer. And all of these are super simple and straightforward, depending. I mean, you can change this to the polyphonic mode. It's a little detuned. I actually haven't used this particular one. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I start to like this chord progression, and then let's go to this. I want to add a bass line to it to make it a little thicker, right? So I put this together quickly beforehand. So let me show you how I did this too. So first you obviously write the MIDI part, or the part of the song that, the bass part or the lead part or whatever. And so I have this on a saw bass here, but there's also a ton of great options for this. But you can get this like kind of great, almost weekend sound, like this sort of 80s sound if you filter this up a little. So I just wanted to bring this up so you can see like how many basses there are in here.
And also just gives you these macros in the bottom right that kind of give you like easy controls. You don't have to open the full synth if that kind of scares you.
All right, so now I got this great bass line. So here's one of my favorite parts about this so far is these drums that you can get out.
Yeah, there's some pretty crazy drum machines.
Yeah, and it has just like this obviously is the 80s drum kit here. It's like this great like kind of Phil Collins almost sounding. So just to use this real quick, I'm sure, drum machines are kind of self-explanatory, but it's super easy. If I want to put a clap in or remove a clap, I just go ahead and right click here. But I put this together, this quick little pattern. Yeah, it's this great cowbell. So anyway, let's get back to this little track here. I might want to change up this sound a little bit. It sounds a little too airy for me, so let's keep scrolling through some sounds. Oh, I like that.
That's cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, this is their Jupiter 8 emulation. I mean, we'd love to have a real Jupiter, but not everyone can have that. So it's nice to have the Arturia stuff in.
So again, super adjustable for anything that you might want. We wanted to see what we have so far. All right, so let's say you want to add some, additional sound, maybe a lead sound or something like that. Just go to it. Yeah, obviously, so you can just keep building with this. I mean, normally with my songs, I'd start with something like this, then I'd come up with like a bunch of draft melodies, and maybe add some guitar, and just keep piling on. It has everything. I mean, part of me, I just wanted to demonstrate like literally actually how useful this is. Like if you just had this, no other plugins, you could make something, a whole song. Yeah, so I like this form. Sometimes normally I would then obviously switch up the chord progression for maybe like a B section, depending, and maybe add another synth in. Something, maybe another lead on top when that drops again. That's cool. Let's see if we can get that a little higher up. So I like that. That's kind of funny. Let's add a little bit of mod. So just to get this a little bit more of an airy sound, a little bit of reverb. I kind of just want a drone note when this comes back in to give it like a kind of an impact. So it adds a little life to that last little section there. So you filter that up. Just want to hear this build one last time. Again, I have yeah, I mean, this is sort of the basis of what I normally do. Obviously, I mix and match this with, other VSTs I may have, and other analog synths, and some guitar and vocals and everything. But I don't think I have a single other, piece of software where you could make a whole song with just, it by itself. So obviously, there's like a ton of things you can do with this, and there's a whole world that opens up to with it. So. We've used this for a while. I normally use it to just kind of plug in and get a specific sound that I want. But this was actually pretty fun to put together something entirely with it. So I guess if I had to say what direction more I took with this album, it's definitely like, there's some stuff that's got definitely more of an 80s sound. It's a little bit more synth heavy than my earlier stuff. It might have just had like a saw bass or something like that. So it kind of opens up a little bit. And, software like this definitely helped me do that.